What's going on, everybody? I'm Caleb Ochoa, also known as NFL Caleb 22, and this is not betting the NFL. This is good friends, better rivals. Even though you have both me and Derek Wesley, also known as D Weezy, here with you. We're not normally together. Usually, I have my good friend and better rival, Ferris Muthana, to help you take you through the Cowboys and Giants game. But since the Cowboys and Panthers play, I have with me my bet in the NFL co-host D Weezy. What's going on, man?
Man, trying to make it through this NFL card, like you said, uh, those that were with us know, we play some bets in the middle of the week, so it's Sunday, it's game day, it's time to see how things shake out. Are we on that winning side? So far it's working out to be a little bit of an even week for me. As it says in the title, we had the Battle of the Blues this week between the Cowboys and the Panthers. We gave a little bit of predictions and insights to what we thought about the game on Betting the NFL. And as we saw
Yeah.
this week, I don't think we were off by that much. I don't think there was any surprise too much in what we saw in this game today.
No, I think it pretty much happened the way I thought it was going to go. The Cowboys do win it 33-10. I had the score on Friday. I predicted it 37-13. So very similar to what I thought the score was going to be, and it was pretty much almost right on. Um, give or take a few points. But yeah, I mean the game pretty much went how I thought it was going to go as well. I mean, I thought it was. I thought we would not play as well on the road like we have not done all season. We're just somehow we're just a little sloppy here and there when we're on the road, and I think we saw that early on in the game. I thought because of that fact, I thought it was going to be competitive for a little bit, and then we would eventually, pull away, and that's pretty much what happened. It was a little bit competitive there. They got the Panthers made it a 17-10 game. They were down just one score, and then the Cowboys kind of quickly shut that down and kind of put it on them, and say that was going to happen. And then we scored a couple touchdowns there to make it 30 to 10 game. But yeah, after what was your thoughts on it was kind of it was a little close, it was a little competitive versus what happened. Why do you think it happened that way? What kind of what got the Panthers to get it a little competitive, and what happened there at the end where they just kind of lost it, I guess. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I think with any big matchup, it's it's easy to have that energy and that drive, in the first quarter, in the first half, because ultimately the game's, still close. Even in a game like this where the score got away from them in the second half, early on, game starts 0-0. So it's not, it's not that hard to maintain that energy coming into a game. It's when you go against that adversity that you see if that energy and that level of that fight to compete continues on. And so I think that's what we saw on some levels because this is the NFL. Even on bad teams, you're talking about highly talented players. So you know maybe Dallas came into this game a little sluggish. Maybe not to say overlooking the Panthers, but just a half a step here, a split second there, difference between making a play and being a step behind. So, I think we saw Dallas make some corrections toward, in the second half. Unfortunately, out of the Panthers, it's that ability to make adjustments that they've struggled with, and we continue to see that this week. Frank Wright retook play calling abilities. I'm not sure it made a difference. And this isn't a knock against Thomas Brown, but regardless, whether it's been Frank Wright, whether it was him, this team has been incapable of going out there and moving the ball offensively. And this was yet another game, where in the first half you saw hints at them having a chance to move the ball. And in that second half, basically come out and do nothing. If I'm not mistaken, Marset, the punt returner, is currently, tied with them as when it comes to offensive touchdowns in a single game. Because last week, he took one all the way back to the house, and that's more TD production than we've seen in some of these games out of this team. And so, at least I won my bet. Cowboys covered that spread coming in. I'm surprised this line wasn't bigger. Minus 10.5 when I got it. I'm not sure where it closed, but I wouldn't be shocked if it closed in that 11 or 12 range. But either way, we had a few double-digit spreads out there this week, and I was a little surprised that this wasn't not to say the biggest spread out there, but at least one of them. And ironically, that's not what we saw. And if the final score says anything, it's definitely that spread wasn't big enough.
Yeah. But like I think that the spread was like that because, like I said, you've seen the Cowboys not play as well on the road, and I think that did have a big part in it. But I just want to say what's up to my dad, say what's up to Adelia. Glad to have you here. But yeah, like I said, this game pretty much was what I thought it was going to be. Dak wasn't as accurate as he has been. He was, was a little shaky there. It was a lot of caused by pressure, a lot of hurried balls, and then we were just kind of missing on guys. And then there were just some outright drops by our receivers. He didn't have like a whole ton of yards, only 189, 2 touchdowns. O-line, they were good. They were pretty good. I mean, they didn't allow a sack on Dak, and they opened some holes in the running game. So like to see that, especially bouncing back from, they put 2 good games together after, just a disastrous game against Philly. And it seems like 12 is the number for Tony Pollard because that's what he's only had 12 carries in each of the last 3 games. It's like that's the number they're going to give him. Splitting time with Rico Dowdle there, and that's partly because I think they realized that he needs to split carries, and it's probably because how much we're passing the ball. We passed it about 38 times, and we came out passing in this game. Like we came on pass it on 3 straight downs right away to start off the game, and that's something I haven't seen. I mean, usually we kind of do like the base gas run play and just run it in the middle for the first play, kind of the run and do nothing play that I'm used to. We didn't see that. I saw the Cowboys just come out and start passing it right away. I'll say what's up to Jeremy. What's up, man? And Bonnie says, fire Frank Reich.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with them. To sort of reiterate something he was saying this past Wednesday, on the LBHT, this just hasn't worked out. A lot of people were excited about this coaching staff and the things that were put together in Carolina and felt extremely confident about this team and the position they were in and the places that it could potentially go. Not to necessarily say that this would be an overnight playoff contender, but by no means have we seen any of that would lead to any sort of confidence. And I mean, at this point, it's been a bit of a circus and just a joke. I mean, so yeah, if it was to come out that they were firing Frank Wright, I wouldn't be upset. Does it happen before the season ends? I'm not so sure. It'll be interesting to watch, that's for sure. Because, if David Tepper's ownership as the MLS club Charlotte FC owner is any sort of reference point. I mean, he's been flying through coaches and upper management, and in a few instances, people choosing to walk away from the team or organization. So it'll be interesting to see how long Frank Wright sticks around if things continue at this rate.
Yeah, definitely not a great game for him. But just to finish up my point, we saw, like I said, we were seeing a lot of passes from the Cowboys offense, and it seems like our whole thing is to like open up the run by passing the ball first, because we still have not gotten the run game going the way we wanted to. At least Tony Pollard found the end zone in this game. That was some. And then we do get a lot of guys involved in the passing game. Dak was spreading it out to everybody. Even got Schoonmaker a touchdown, so that was something new. We tried a bunch of different plays in this game. Like we were even trying the goddamn Wildcat for 2 plays. I don't know what the hell we were doing there, because that shit didn't work at all. So that was weird to see.
This is the game and matchup to reach into your bag a little bit, because I mean, at no point in time was the Cowboys in danger of losing this game. I mean, I hate to sound so down on my Panthers, but I mean that's the honesty of it. Like at no point in time did it seem
seems like
Johnny's
really down on them.
But I mean, they didn't really move the ball.
New team.
Man, I understand it. I mean, this team has done nothing in the past 3-4 years that would make you be excited, or I mean, you got to have a reason to want to watch a team, want to go to the games, want to buy the gear. There's got to be some sort of connection there. And when your only connection there is constant losing and misery and just flat out dysfunction, I mean, it raises questions as to why you want to be a fan of that team. And so, I mean, hell, I live in Charlotte area where the Panthers are located. And it's a common theme now that's become more than a running joke. But what Panther fans do on Sundays other than watch the games, like, it's a legit thing, because why am I going to waste, 3-4 hours just sitting at home watching the game? There's other stuff you can do. And I mean, that I'm a fan of football. I like watching, good football game. And that doesn't even necessarily mean points. A 13-17 game can be exciting in the right situation, So, but you got to have a reason to want to be a fan of this team and to continue to support the team. And if you're not getting that in return, shoot, yes, you find a good team, because I mean, I would want to see my team win. And if you got to find a new team to make it happen, well, shoot, make it happen.
Yeah, that's rough. But Jeremy says McCarthy's offense has been good, not great. At least we're trying new things. I can agree with that. I don't think we've gotten it all together. We've definitely gotten our passing game going, but our running game still, not totally there yet. But we're trying new things. We definitely saw that in this game. We were trying a bunch of different looks, and we were trying. We gave it to CeeDee Lamb for runs, and we gave it to Devontae Turpin in the run game. And finally we're getting Tony Pollard on the outside instead of just running him up the middle all the time, because that wasn't working. But glad to see that. That's a change up of things. Definitely did see a lot of stuff that I wasn't used to seeing from the Cowboys offense. So like you said, it's probably the game to do it against a 1-win Panthers team. But yeah, and then I was definitely gonna bring up this Jerry Jones. finally before the game, finally is inducting Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor. I mean, Cowboy fans have been waiting for this for like the past, over 20 years, man. I mean, it's been a long goddamn time. Jimmy Johnson should have been in there just a long time ago. We've been asking for it, we've been begging for it. Jerry just did not want to give it up. Obviously they've had their issues with each other, they've had feuds, and Jerry just did not want to let it go. He didn't want to let it go, and finally, he, I guess they put that in the past, and Jerry decided to put him in the ring, and you saw it on Jimmy's face on the broadcast, like he was wanting this. He's been wanting this. He's been probably just as much as the regular Hall of Fame that he wanted to be in the Cowboys Ring of Honor. And yeah, I definitely saw a lot of emotion in it. Man, I was getting emotional. I was like, hell yeah, because maybe this will finally lift the curse on us and we can go to the NFC Championship game, because now Jimmy Johnson's going to be in the Ring of Honor. Finally, that might lift our curse.
Nah.
I mean,
though I will admit, anytime you can get Jerry Jones to admit that he was wrong, you basically moved the mountain. I mean, let's be real about that. This man will get up in front of any camera, any microphone, say whatever the hell he wants to say, regardless of what it is, however right or wrong it is, and he's gonna say it. And so, it's been very public, the feud, an ongoing feud that existed between Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson. Like you said, it's basically, it's the rightful thing to do. Clearly, a guy that he was the coach of the dynasty. I mean, you win 3 Super Bowls in that short stretch of time, like they did. Yes, you should remember and cherish that coach within your team history, because those are things that don't happen that often. I think for a stretch there, a lot of people, and especially younger fans of the game, kind of, they saw the way the Patriots were able to dominate and such, and within a decade, and kind of skewed that mindset of just how hard it is to put together, whether it be back-to-back championships or 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5. I mean, hell, you get 2 in a decade, you're doing better than some organizations out there. So yeah, like, by all means, does he Hall of Fame coach? Yes. Belong in the Ring of Honor for Dallas? Of course. And so, I think this is just another one of those instances where the reason it probably took so long is because it highlights that Jerry Jones was wrong, and he's got to go out there and admit it.
Yeah, that's probably definitely the case. But yeah, all I can say was I was happy to see it. I'm definitely happy to see it. Definitely, it's going to happen on the Lions when we go up against the Lions. They'll be inducted. So hopefully that helps us win that game. With the emotion that would be for him going in that game. So hopefully that helps us out in that game. But getting back to this game, on the defensive side, Micah Parsons, man, he was just, who's the guard? Who was your guard that he was just tearing and just blowing past? Forget his name. God, I can't remember the guy's name.
Well,
but
I know Colbert
that
was
same
out
guard.
there first. Are you thinking of how you say it? I got to see his name. Chavala. Got me on the spot.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
whatever, however you say his name.
Yeah,
or,
I assure you that a lot of Panther fans are referring to him exactly as that guy. No, he's that guy now, because like we expected, the O-line to struggle, but god damn, but please continue. O-line struggling.
Yeah, Zavala was just getting, He wasn't even trying, man. I mean, Michael Parsons was just hunting Bryce Young down. He got 2.5 sacks this game. He's just beating that man. And then even anybody who was on that guy was getting sacks. It was great. I mean, totally. We got what seven sacks in this game. That's more than we got against the Giants' bad O line. That was really bad. I mean, Bryce Young was just getting murdered back there. See, yeah, I mean, even if you were trying to have some type of, good offense, it was just not going to happen when you were just allowing our defensive line just to get by you that quickly and just, cave in on him. Yeah, I mean, that was just rough seeing Bryce Young. But what do you think was working on that drive that was very successful? It was a long ass drive that you got the touchdown drive. What do you think was working then versus the rest of the game?
I mean, it's hard to point out one specific thing. Now they were able to move the ball a little better on in the run game, and but
Oh
even
yeah,
on
you were
that drive,
gashing us.
yeah,
You
but
were
even
gashing
on
us
that
in the
drive,
run
they were
game.
still the defensive line was still able to bring pressure. And I'm not sure if they got a sack on that drive, but they were able to move Bryce Young off his spot. Hurry him in the pocket, get him out on the move. So by no means were these just easy, simple plays that were being converted. And clearly you're not doing everything correct if you had 3 fourth down tries on a single drive. You'd like to see the first down be converted before you get the fourth down. Now, I mean, you can point at the penalty on the punt, running into the kicker, which turned a 4th and 7 into a 4th and 2. Which, I mean, in that situation, given the circumstances, what's going on in Carolina, I think going for it on that 4th and 2 was definitely warranted. And so that conversion, at that point, the mindset should be get to the end zone, do whatever it takes to get to the end zone. You know, don't pull up for the field goal because one, it's not going to help you. Two, the one thing this team has probably struggled to do more than anything this year is find the end zone. And so, forget a field goal. Fourth down, no, we're going for it. And you saw they were able to, get into the end zone. Was a decent play, a pass to the tight end. Out in the flat. One of those routes that it's just by nature difficult to cover in the NFL because even while things get compressed in the red zone, there's still gaps and space for people to be uncovered for a second. And when you only need 2, 3, 4 yards to get into the end zone, it can be difficult to cover that gap. And so, combination of good play design and just being on the doorstep. Yeah, no, Chuba's been
Chuba,
all right, but I mean, he's been exactly what
Chuba
I
and
think a lot
Sanders
of
were
people.
both at 50 yards.
Well, but people expected Chuba to come in and be a backup running back. Now, what stands out more is why is Miles Sanders having the same amount of production as your backup running back? Now I think we've seen less of it this season, but Chuba's issue in the past has been holding on to the ball. Even in the past game with drops on simple passes, no contact, hit them right in the hands. So yeah, I do. I think Chuba's been having a better season, but like I said, I think what stands out more there is why are you getting just as much production out of your backup running back as your starting running back when you signed Miles Sanders to the contract that you did? And not to say that he's going to come in and be some, all pro running back for us, but you would like to see him be able to separate himself from the people that you already had on the roster, because at that point, what was the reason for bringing him in? You know?
Yeah. All right. And I just want to get to Deron Bland gets that pick. He has 4 pick sixes in the season. That's tied for most in NFL history to do one season. That's really awesome to see. Ron Plan's been playing awesome since he got since he got time to play in the starting lineup. Just haven't really missed Trayvon Diggs, to be honest. I mean, he has the same playmaking ability that Diggs has to play the ball, to take it back to the house. He's been awesome. It's gonna be really awesome if we get both Diggs and him back for next season. But as far as now, Gilmore and Bland doing a pretty good job. But where they weren't able to do a good job is, Thielen was able to get open a bunch of times. That was frustrating to watch. That's kind of the only guy Young could really go to, was just Thielen getting open. But on the interception, do you think it was a bad throw? Do you think the receiver ran a bad route? Because there's a little bit dispute in the chat that I saw in the one of the chats.
Honestly, I mean,
whether it was
I'd have to really look at the film if I'm gonna sit here and try and assign blame. At a certain point in that game, I think it's a combination of things. You got Bryce Young, who's been running for his life all game, so whether that you could put him back there with zero pressure, he still might feel pressure because he's been back there scrambling for his life just to try and get off any pass. The wide receiver core is definitely underproduced. You look at Jonathan Mingo. Yes, he's a rookie, but 1 catch on 6 targets. There's been a lot of dispute about his effort level and his route running ability, and not his ability to perform the route, but more the energy, more the effort level being given while running the route. So I think it could be easy to assign blame on both sides here. But regardless of the fact, it happened. Uh, you know, and I think more assigned with this team. I think that kind of took the air out of their sails. And we just saw this team kind of defeated at that point in the Carolina Panthers. And that, to me, that's the bigger issue here. You see it, not to say that they're, not out there fighting, but those are the types of things you got to be able to bounce back from as a team. And even if you don't go out there and, start putting up touchdown drives and things of that nature, you at least want to see that team go out there and continue to fight. And, I think that pick 6 really, deflated the team and just sort of locked in that defeated mentality for this game. But yeah, like I said, I think you could assign blame on both sides there. And I think with Thielen, to a certain degree, you're seeing what a savvy vet can do. I think in Carolina, he's probably seeing more targets than he would probably in most places. And as a savvy, vets, they don't lack the ability to get open. It's more a question how often is the ball coming to them. Now you could probably look at a lot of veteran wide receivers and see on a lot of plays where they weren't targeted, but they did create separation and ability to get open for a stretch of time on a play. And so I think with Thielen, part of what's occurring, yes, he has good hands. Yes, he's shown, a reliability in bringing in the reception, but also being that savvy vet, you know how to do those little things to help you get open. He might not be able to outrun the guy, but you don't have to be outrun the guy to create that separation and have, a second or two window where you're completely open and if they put the ball on your hands, that's reception. And as a rookie quarterback, you like to be able to rely on that.
Right. All right, and then one last shout out to Marquise Bell. He led the team in tackles. He's just been great since Lane Banderish got hurt, and it's surprising to see And because he's so undersized, like he's a safety converted into a linebacker. He's very small out there, he's playing in the middle, and he's laying out hits out there. He's doing a great job. He's all around the field, and he's making plays, man. He's been great since he's got his opportunities. So yeah, I just wanted to mention him. But like I said, my final thoughts on this game. It's pretty much like I said, I thought it was going to be 37-13. It was 33-13, and very, very pretty much what I thought. It was going to be competitive for a little bit. We definitely pulled away. And yeah, we're just on. It's a good road win for us, another road win for us where we haven't been our best. That's really all I got for this game. And what are your final thoughts on what's next for your Panthers for the next few weeks here of the season?
Man, I wish I could say, because I mean, this is a truly rare instance where it's like I can't root for them to win because I would just sound like an idiot. Can't root for them to lose because they don't have a first round pick. I can't really root for the future because while Bryce Young has shown, there's a lot of potential there. It's hard to evaluate this season as far as a win-loss perspective. You can't call any rookie a bust after their rookie season alone, and I don't care how bad they play. But you don't have Brian Burns under contract. I mean, the list is just ever growing. You still got David Tepper as the owner. Frank Wright's the head coach. Back calling plays. Maybe he won't call plays, then he'll start calling plays again. Who knows? But so yeah, it's a rather interesting quagmire of how to view what to root for the future when it comes to Carolina Panthers.
7 games. 7 games is a lot of games. To kind of just begin like you have one win, you have no first round pick, and it's kind of in a rough spot of like, what are you rooting for here? I guess you're just looking for how Bryce Young, just his development. I guess that's the one thing.
Well, and unfortunately, I don't think you can accurately, analyze and judge what we're seeing this year just because of, things like the O-line play being as horrible as it's been. And just a number of different factors like that. So yeah, not quite sure what. Maybe they'll come out with some nice merch. I don't know.
Yeah, tough times there. I will say what's up today, Vaughn. What's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, what's next for the Cowboys? We are 7-3, still second in the division, right behind the Philadelphia Eagles. But next week we have the Washington Commanders on Thanksgiving, like we always play on Thanksgiving, obviously. But we seem to play the Washington Commanders a lot of the time on Thanksgiving as well. We got them again here this year. But before we get into that game, if you guys can, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. You can also hit that like button. Definitely need to do that. And if you really want to help us out, you can join our Patreon. The link is in the description down below. So please do all that. We very much appreciate it. All right. Dave on says, love when Dallas plays Washington. Always a good matchup. It is always a good matchup. We do have a tough time against them. It kind of goes back and forth. We split a lot of the time every year with them. Doesn't really matter how bad we are or how bad they are. It kind of goes back and forth with Washington and Dallas. For some reason, we have a tough time, sweeping them. And it could be the case here. going into this game. But my God, Washington should be goddamn embarrassed from the game they just played today against Tommy DeVito and the New York Giants. Because the Tommy DeVito lit their asses up. He had 246 yards and 3 touchdowns. My goodness, you allowed that dude, to do that on your own. That's embarrassing. That is quite
It must
embarrassing.
have been that
And
home
then,
cooking because he ain't out there spending money on fast food and fancy watches and whatnot. Mama get you right. That pregame meal.
yeah, apparently, and they, I guess, but Sam Howell did get his first win against us last year. We were playing a vanilla offense, and so we weren't really, playing for much in that game last year in his first start. So I definitely think it'll be different this time. Um, and then the one thing that does concern me, like you saw against the Panthers, they were able to get some running on us. That's always been my concern throughout the season of us just getting gashed in the run. They ran about 174 yards on the Giants. That's the one thing that can concern me is if they can get a run game going, then that's going to be trouble for us. But as we've seen throughout the season, Cowboys play extremely well at home, and being on Thanksgiving is going to even give us more of a boost. I just can't see us losing this game at home. I mean, maybe we lose one on the road. That could be the case, but I don't. I just cannot see us losing at home on Thanksgiving against the Commanders, especially when we're on the streak that we're on right now. And then I think we have Philadelphia, or we have someone tough. So the next game after that, let me see real quick. We have the Seahawks. We have the Seahawks right after that, and then Philadelphia. But 2 tough games after that, so we cannot just slip on this game. We have to win this game. Going into the rough stretch of games that we have against Seahawks, Eagles, Bills, and Dolphins, and Lions. It's going to be a tough stretch, so we need to get this win. We need to beat the bigger teams that we have on our schedule. This one is just another one of them. So definitely got to get this win for us. And I do think we will win. I got the score 38-24. What do you think is going to happen in Washington on Thanksgiving?
As a Panthers fan, I'm going to shamelessly root against you. I want Eric Bieniemy to go out there and show off an offense that has never before been seen and on national television in front of thousands of homes while they gather around Thanksgiving food. They watch Dallas Cowboys get picked apart by a UNC legend, Sam Howell, and Eric B, because Eric B had to leave KC to show off that he could do it by himself. So go out there, do it by yourself this year, and then come on down to Carolina, where we gladly, there's going to be this nice open vacancy at the head coaching position that I think would just be prime and perfect for Eric Bieniemy to come down, save this, rookie quarterback that's having to suffer right now. So yeah. I think, yes, it could get very interesting between Dallas and in Washington, because as you say, people have heard us talk about it before on betting the NFL. Division games are, hard to handicap, hard to predict. Usually end up being a hard fought game for the majority of the game, even if things seem to slip away at the end. But yeah, I think most people are going to expect Cowboys to come into this game, and try and dominate and try and definitely utilize that defensive line and get pressure on Sam Howell. It'll be interesting how Washington utilizes their running back core because I think with Eric Bieniemy, and this is something kind of saw in Kansas City, he's not afraid to utilize a group at running back, but he has his guys, and those guys are able to produce. And you can I think a lot of people would have wrote off Antonio Gibson with the way we've seen Brian Robinson come along, especially after the gunshot incident on the attempted carjacking last year, which is just insane. But we've still seen there's a wrinkle and a utilization for Gibson in the game in the passing game. So yeah, if Washington can go out there and get a little bit of a run game going and slow down some of that pressure we see coming out of Parsons and coming off the edge, it could be interesting. And if the game stays close, I mean, Washington's shown that they have the ability to get the ball downfield in a hurry. They got Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. As I mentioned, both those running backs could be a legit receiving threat because with the ball in their hands and in space, they can definitely pull off some chunk plays. So it's definitely not a game I think, Dallas wants to overlook, definitely shouldn't overlook. I don't think they will, it being Thanksgiving and just that setting. I mean, as you mentioned, it was a rather frequent, Dallas playing Washington, Thanksgiving, and, you show up for those games. Tradition games, something we see more at the college level, but those tradition games, teams show up for those games and
Yeah,
fight for those games.
I wish we had showed up the one Thanksgiving game I actually went to in 2012 when we got our ass kicked by RG3. I wish they had showed up in that game.
See, that makes you the perfect Cowboys fan then, see?
It's terrible. I mean, by the way, every game I've been to, I've been to 3 games. We lost them all. We lost all the games I've been to. So,
bruh, I'm a Panthers fan. I don't want to hear it. You know how many L's I've gotten to. When will it end? Man, a couple years back, I was asked about Panthers rebuild, and I believe at the time this was right after they had acquired Sam Darnold, and I said then, it could be a 2-3 year rebuild, a scenario like that, and if they weren't careful, then we're easily looking at something that could be a 5 to 7 year rebuild, if not longer. Who knows? And I mean that's where we find ourselves as Panther fans, and with this Panthers team. There's no hope for the future at wide receiver because I would not be shocked if we saw Adam Thielen retire in the next year or two, or at least find somewhere else to play because I don't think too many vets want to spend their last days on a bottom of the barrel team. Not to say that, they're hunting for Super Bowl contenders, but you at least want that chance to fight for a playoff spot. You at least want that chance. And I think they might have been able to sell Thielen on that chance coming into this season. But as far as next season, that definitely doesn't exist. So whether I'd have to double check his contract. I'm not sure if they got him for multiple years or not, but retirement versus going through another year of this, I would not be shocked if he, chose to call it a career. So yeah, as far as when will it end, who knows? Because ultimately, it seems like David Tepper's calling the shots with the coaching staff and some of the things that have been going on the past couple of years. And there's no real direction for this team or organization. And in a setting like pro sports and especially the NFL, an organization with no direction and no real leadership, it's not a healthy thing for an organization. And I believe my man said he's got 2 more years. Well, yeah, I'd be surprised if he played out that full contract with the Panthers. Like I said, whether it be after this year, maybe after next year, I see Thielen calling it a career. And if next year's anything like what we've seen this year, even if he's getting the stats and getting the ball in his hands, you like I said, if you ain't got a chance, if you ain't got a real shot at winning or at least fighting for a playoff spot, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of vets that would, legitimately consider hanging up the cleats.
But just to wrap it up, I said we beat Washington 38-24 on Thanksgiving. But yeah, that'll wrap up both the Cowboys Panthers and looking ahead to Washington and Dallas on Thanksgiving. Harris will hopefully be back on Friday. Hopefully, he should show his face again after the Giants' big win against Commanders. He'll go more into detail on that game and looking ahead to their next game against the Patriots. So, like I said, hopefully he will be back. But yeah, thanks, D Weezy, for coming on. No, it wasn't the greatest game to go over, but glad to have you on. Good friends, better rivals, man.
Always glad to help out. As a Panthers fan, I've sat through worse, so yeah, it's a bit of a tradition. The Panthers are playing. Don't talk big before checking the score, and then don't talk big before it's final.
Yeah. All right. You can tell the people where they can find you.
Yes, folks can reach me at Backyard Action Media here on YouTube and at the Yard Bets on Twitter X.
And you can find me at NFLKF22 on Instagram and Twitter/X. You can find me and D Weezy on this channel, Betting the NFL, every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Pacific time. Taking through our 5 best bets of the week. We're trying to have a winning week this week. It's getting there. It's getting there. But all we do on that show is try to win you guys money. So please tune in for that. Because we're trying to help you guys out. So why would you not want to be helped out? But other than that, yeah, that's where you can find me. That was a great game for the Cowboys, not so great for the Panthers, but that's just the way it goes. And all I can say is, how about them Cowboys, baby?